how do you know when you should put effort in when talking with your ex versus playing it safe and doing a little bit less to give them an opportunity to do more? For the answer, watch this video. Hey, I'm Coach Benny, and I help people get their exes back. And before I did this, I was a dating coach for 5 years, where I had to pay attention to how attraction works, and I use that experience to help you get your ex back. Now, when you've had a communication breakdown with your ex, and especially if both of you are avoidance, okay, or even if not, when problems are at play, there's a divide between you and your ex. And when you start reconnecting, whether you've gone to them to text them first or they've come to you, everything's really delicate, right? Now, whenever you reconnect with your ex, whether they've started to message you or whether you go to them, you're walking this fine line between doing too much and too little. Imagine your ex wishes you happy birthday and all you say is thanks. They had to go out on a limb to say that. Maybe they're not as articulate with their birthday wishes, and maybe they just send something as like a covert olive branch to you. But if all you do is say thanks, it kind of shuts down the conversation. And maybe they broke up with you and you're thinking, well, they should do more and all this kind of stuff. Well, there's reasons why people break up with you and run away and all this kind of stuff. And those same inhibitors can inhibit the amount of attention they're coming to you with, even if it's for the first time. And so ideally, if your ex were to message you, happy birthday, you don't want to just do so little that, you're just forcing them to do everything. But you also don't want to do too much, right? You don't want to be like, oh, thank you. And hey, by the way, do you want to get together? A good middle ground is to, in the beginning when they start messaging you, to give them something they can sink their teeth into. For example, they say happy birthday and then you make some joke like, yeah, hopefully I get at least one shirtless cowboy birthday card for my birthday. So by being playful right off the bat, you're encouraging more conversation to happen. It's not like you wrote them a paragraph or something, right? But at the same time, you're doing more than thanks, which allows that conversation to persist. Now, especially with dismissive avoidance, they're going to have more issues with being vulnerable and coming to you. A lot of times they hesitate because they think you're mad at them for having broken up with you. They also think that they're not good enough for you, and they really don't want to come to you and like ruin your life by mixing themselves into it. So it's already hard enough for them to even break the silence already. Now imagine your ex says happy birthday and then you make the shirtless cowboy card joke, and then all they do is say haha and that's it. Then you let it fizzle out, right? You can't just keep investing energy hoping that they're going to engage and hoping that the conversation goes somewhere. But at least by then you've given them the chance to participate. Now, last thing I'll say is that I think in these conversations it's important to recognize windows to be vulnerable. If you're just defensive because in the past you got emotional and everything that you did and said just made things worse and all that stuff. Yeah, later, once you guys come back together, it doesn't mean that you can't ever be vulnerable. If your emotions caught a hold of you in the past, it doesn't mean that you're still in that same spot. So kind of be aware when you should actually volunteer a little bit more. But don't be silly, right? If you do too much, you're going to chase them off. Now, if you want some help with this process, click into my profile. There's a link right here. You can click that, set up a call with me, and tell me your story, and I'll give you a step-by-step plan to get your ex back.